Maybe you saw this viral video of a bunch of wealthy celebrity women floating around in Jeff Bezos' rocket.
1, 2, 3, take up space! Woo!
Take up space! That's what they were shouting as they floated around in a billionaire's rocket, like they'd won feminism or something. But the problem is, that's not power, that's just performance. Hi. I'm Tracy Marshall, and welcome to The Tracy Marshall Show. Today, we're diving into this phrase that you'll see all over Instagram posts, self-help books, and yes, even space tourism. It's take up space, and it sounds empowering, right? It feels bold, but is it really the key to help us become strong women? Or is it just a catchy slogan that distracts us from making real progress in our lives? Let's break it down. Take up space. It's everywhere. It's practically a mantra for self-help guru Glennon Doyle. Singer-songwriter Lizzo preaches it, and it's all over Instagram captions and corporate DEI slideshows. At first, it sounds like a battle cry. Be bold, exist loudly, be unapologetic. But let's pause for a minute. What does it actually mean? Does it mean take up physical space? Like, should I sprawl on the couch and demand I have the whole sectional? Is it emotional space? Is it mental space? Look, this phrase is so vague, it becomes like some Rorschach test where you can see whatever you want to in it. Here's the kicker. It assumes that you don't already take up space, like you need some motivational poster on your bedroom wall to remind you that you exist. Newsflash, you do. You already take up space. You exist. You've got a life. You've got breath in your lungs. You've got a voice you can use. The real question isn't whether you take up space. Of course you do. The better question is, what are you doing with the space you've already got? Let's unpack that. Instead of yelling about taking up space, maybe we should focus on how we're showing up in it. Are you bringing value? Are you lifting other people up? Or are you just making noise to get noticed? Look, this idea of taking up space has some real problems. The first one is it promotes ego over real virtue. This whole take up space mantra can feel like a permission slip to be all about your own pride. Instead of bringing something meaningful to the table, it's about puffing yourself up just to get noticed. Too often, it carries this undercurrent of victimhood. Glennon Doyle talks about this a lot, like that the world is conspiring to make women somehow shrink or be less important. And the result is that it's like we've got this job to take up space, to be bold and brash and to get noticed. Taking up space has become influencer speak for pay attention to me no matter what. But real women don't need to pretend or to flaunt their victimhood to prove their worth. We saw it perfectly with that Blue Origin space clip, right? Women floating around through zero gravity, shouting about taking up space like just the volume was somehow a virtue. It was about being seen and equating that with doing something important. This is the playbook for women right now in the culture. Take up space. But no one ever seems to stop and ask, take up space for what? Get noticed for what? What are you doing with your space? Here's another problem with demanding attention for taking up space. Have you earned the attention? Or are you just sitting there like furniture, waiting for someone to notice you and give you validation? Or worse than just sitting there, are you demanding attention for something you haven't earned? That's not confidence, that's entitlement. And it's as annoying in adults as it is in toddlers. You know, the person who walks into the room and demands attention just for showing up? It's like a 3-year-old who has a tantrum because no one noticed their sparkly pink shoes. It's annoying at 3, it's unbearable at 30. Let me tell you a quick story. I once worked with a woman, we'll call her Karen because, well, it fits. She was obsessed with taking up space. In every meeting, she'd dominate the conversation, not with ideas, mind you, but with discussing her journey. She'd interrupt, overshare, and derail entire conversations just to make sure everyone knew she was there. And guess what? No one respected her more for it. They were just annoyed by her. Her space wasn't earned, it was demanded. And there is this huge difference between loud self-promotion and earned influence. What's the better question? Instead of obsessing over whether you're taking up space, ask yourself, what am I doing with the space I already have? Are you building something that lasts? Are you serving others? Are you speaking with wisdom? Or are you just adding to the noise? And if you are doing something that lasts, like building a family, raising children, maybe serving in your community, that is so much more than just taking up space. That's being truly influential. Real influence comes from substance. It's the woman who doesn't need to shout because her work, her character, and her integrity speak for themselves. When those women launched up in that rocket yelling, "Take up space," sure, it made headlines. And yes, some people mocked them for their drama. But no one seemed to ask the question, what had they done to earn that space? Compare that to someone like Eileen Collins, the first female commander of a space shuttle. She trained for decades, flew combat missions, and quietly earned a place in history. That's not just taking up space. That's commanding it. So how can you practically use your space for good? I have a friend who says we all have been given a garden or a sphere of influence that we have the responsibility to cultivate and to till and to make the most of it. That's kind of the image that I prefer to this taking up space. But how can you use your space for good? How can you make the most of your garden, if you will? Here's something practical you can do. This week, do one thing for yourself and one thing for others. And start small. Actually, to keep the garden analogy, when you sow small things, you reap big things. It really is usually the small things that have the most impact in the world after all. So start with this. Do something small for yourself. And I don't mean a bubble bath, although, yeah, I love a bubble bath. But I'm talking about something that helps yourself really grow. Maybe you focus on a character trait where you know you need to improve. Or maybe you spend some time working on a skill you want to develop. And then do something for the world. Maybe you go volunteer to read to at-risk kids. Maybe you have a tough conversation with a friend. Or maybe you just show up fully present for your family tonight at dinner and quit scrolling Instagram looking for some affirmation to post. At the root of it, it seems like this take up space mantra is about women trying to get respect and honor. Well, here's what the Bible says about how to get respect and honor. Whoever pursues righteousness and kindness will find life, righteousness, and honor. Whoever lives a quiet and peaceable life will be respected. That's the kind of empowerment that doesn't need a megaphone. It's not about being loud for the sake of being heard. It's about living in a way that your presence carries weight, that you're noticed because of your character, your honesty, your dignity, your integrity. This matters now more than ever. Look, we're all drowning in this world. There's a ton of hot takes on X. If you go to TikTok, you can get 15-second life advice. Come on. Everyone is shouting to be heard. And honestly, in the midst of all that noise, it's just exhausting. And the pressure to take up space can make you feel like you're failing if you're not constantly posting or proving yourself or somehow performing. But here's the truth. You don't need to scream to be seen. The world doesn't need louder women, it needs deeper women. Women who prioritize character over clout. Women who don't brag, but actually build something. And women who don't demand space, but command it because of their quiet strength. So let's ditch these meaningless platitudes. Forget trying to take up space and focus on living with purpose. Pursue righteousness, be kind, be faithful, build a life of substance. That's how you make your presence felt, not by shouting from some rocket, but by showing up with integrity every single day. If this message resonated with you, I hope you'll share it with a friend. And be sure to like and subscribe for more time-tested wisdom with a side of straight talk. And let me know in the comments, what's one way you're going to use your space for good this week? I'm Tracy, and I'll see you in the next episode.